This is the best performance car for Indian roads. That's right, if you are a car enthusiast, there's nothing better than this for you, because this is the fastest accelerating car to be made in India, actually assembled in India, but whatever. Now that looks really fast. Imagine what it feels for the driver. This of course is the BMW M340i. It's a 3 Series which hasn't been dialed up to 11 because that is the extreme M3. Instead, this is the middle ground, the best of both worlds. 80% as practical as a regular 3 Series while offering you 80% of the thrills of the M3. And BMW has recently updated the M340i and there are just 6 changes. New 19-inch blackened out alloy wheels that seem to be inspired from Lamborghini with their white spokes, red colored brake calipers instead of blue, updated OS for the infotainment screen, redesigned center AC vents and a flat bottom steering wheel with a red band on the top. But the biggest change is to the suspension. It now gets adaptive dampers which makes a world of a difference to the ride quality. But more on that in the driving part of this video. First, let's quickly recap. The M340i is a sharper looking 3 Series with an aggressive front bumper, a grille that actually opens when the engine needs to breathe better, headlights that wink at you when you unlock the car at night, there's also a light projection on the side, M badges on the front fenders, chunky looking M mirror caps, dual exhaust tips, one on either side of the diffuser, a subtle lip spoiler, cool taillights that Honda had to copy them for their city, and the all important M340i badging which signals business. By the way, there's an air channel here to cool the brakes. Ironically, it is shut on the left side. Like most of us, this car too is right-handed. The interior was simply better with the pre-facelifted model, even though the infotainment screen was smaller because there were plenty of physical buttons earlier. Now everything is reliant on the 14.9-inch touchscreen. Even the freaking AC controls, which makes it very cumbersome to operate the air conditioning. Okay, there are some physical buttons for the audio system and defoggers, while the iDrive rotary dial is still there with plenty of buttons for various functions around it. But we do need more physical buttons. Then there's the 12.3-inch instrument cluster which shows a nice welcome animation as well as a goodbye animation. It shows a lot of information in it and there are multiple display modes too, but there is not one I like. I miss the old classic BMW dials. Quality here is just fantastic. The dashboard and center console get carbon fiber finish while the seats are super comfy and have blue stitching with the M logo colors on it. Even the seat belts have the M colors on it while rear seat comfort is quite good. Remember, this is not based on the regular 3 Series we get in India because we only get the long wheelbase 3 Series while this is based on the short wheelbase version of the 3 Series. Yet, legroom and kneeroom is good. Under-thigh support is average while headroom is just about adequate for someone as tall as me. Heck, the center passenger gets ahead but there's a hump in the center so center passenger isn't welcome here. Sorry. The boot isn't powered yet opens without any effort. It's decently big at 480 liters and you can fold the rear seats to boost luggage carrying capacity further. The spare wheel is placed underneath and is a 135/80 17-inch space saver tire. For reference, this car runs on 225/40 tires. But what exactly is this in the boot? Anyways, the BMW M340i gets plenty of kit, including a slick curved screen which is very high resolution, so much so that it also gives you seat operating tips showcasing safe seating position videos. What? Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, sunroof that is bigger than usual for a single pane unit but doesn't open as big as it should, 360-degree parking camera with 3D view and bird's eye view, this is just amazing, 9-color ambient lighting that is 55 colors too less, digital key, voice commands, sport displays. Reversing assistant that remembers the last 50 meters of the car's path, wireless phone charger, 3-zone climate control air conditioning, powered front seats with extendable under-thigh support, but shockingly there is no seat ventilation, 16-speaker Harman Kardon sound system with 464 watt output. It's quite amazing. Listen to it. And a high resolution heads-up display that also displays amazing navigation. In fact, this car also has AR navigation wherein the front camera guides you with arrows for the next turn. Sadly, the FASTag here is placed so badly, it blocks half the view. But let's be honest, you don't care about all this, you only care about the driving experience, so let's give it the beans. Alright, it's time to start driving. First things first, let's turn off the air conditioning. Let's come into sport mode here. We'll come into sport plus. We'll come into traction control. We'll make traction control sport as well. And sport display. There, we've turned on the sport displays as well. We come into drive. We come into sport. Left foot on the brake. Right foot on the accelerator. Hazard light off. Revving the motor. Launch control active. Absolutely bonkers performance. This engine is unbelievable. The way it pulls blows your mind completely. This is a 3-liter. It's an inline 6-cylinder engine which is known as the B58. It produces 374 horsepower and 500 Newton meters of torque. 374 horsepower is actually 13 horsepower lesser when compared to the pre-facelifted model, but I think due to emission regulations they had to make some changes as well. Now this car has become a bit too silent now, especially when you come into normal mode or when you're driving it in Eco Pro. Otherwise in sport mode, yes, it is nice and loud. 0 to 100 km per hour in 4.43 seconds with an upslope of 2%, which is impressive because BMW also claims that this car goes from 0 to 100 km per hour in 4.4 seconds, which definitely is very quick. This car feels like a rocket. It feels like a go-kart. You don't feel the weight at all. It just pushes hard and fast, and the gear shifts are super duper quick here because this is an 8-speed torque converter automatic gearbox. You don't realize only it shifts like lightning quick. The engine is just mind-blowing here. This is basically one of the best engines which BMW makes. In fact, this is one of the best 6-cylinder engines in the world, period, because this is the B58. The more performance-oriented hardcore version of this engine is known as the S58, which powers the M3 as well as the M4. No problem on speed breakers, which is a good thing. So like I was telling you, with the M3 and M4 you get the S58, which is one of the best 6-cylinder engines in the world. I did not say the best. You know why? Because that is obviously Porsche's flat 6 motor, because Porsche obviously makes the best engines. The flat 6 roars like crazy. Okay, listen to what 9000 RPM sounds like. And here we go. And back here to the M340i, here redline comes in at 7000 RPM. Power delivery is very smooth. Firstly, this is having X-Drive, all-wheel drive, which is BMW's all-wheel drive system, which is more rear bias, so it doesn't understeer, and it also gives you a bit of an oversteer, but in control as long as the traction control system is turned on, and you've got manual control on the gears. So here, downshift, it will not upshift unless and until I decide to do so, giving me complete control of things. It revs very fast, like super fast. The engine is super fast in terms of revving, and oh my god, it pulls like crazy. This car is so enjoyable to drive. It's mind-blowing. The motor is so sweet. It sounds nice. It obviously isn't very loud as such because insulation levels in German cars is phenomenal. That's the reason BMW is giving us fake sounds on the inside known as iconic sounds, which basically synthesizes fake sounds, including some crackles coming from the exhaust, which is not happening. So on upshift there's this brap, which is not the real thing. It is actually synthesized. So when you turn it off, you realize, oh my god, the car is super silent. So yeah, fake sounds have become the norm these days. Obviously, someone who's buying this car is going to go for a sports exhaust system, a remap, maybe a bigger turbo and whatnot to improve the performance of this car, to bring it closer to M3 levels. But trust me, just get the M3 instead, because this car is obviously much cheaper when compared to the M3, like say half the price, extreme value for money. And when I do a competition check, I realize the kind of pricing which BMW has done here is mind-blowing. Okay, the Audi S5 is cheaper, but the Audi S5 has 350 horsepower, this one has 374 horsepower, and the Mercedes C43 has 408 horsepower. So this is somewhere in the middle. All the three cars ironically have the exact same 500 Newton meters of torque. Funny now that all of them have the exact same torque numbers. However, in terms of acceleration timing, this is the fastest 0 to 100 km per hour in 4.4 seconds. The Mercedes C43 goes from 0 to 100 km per hour in 4.6 seconds. Meanwhile, the Audi S5 goes from 0 to 100 km per hour in 4.8 seconds. All the three cars have all-wheel drive. However, the Mercedes is 4 cylinders, the others are 6 cylinders. So obviously that makes a huge difference in the feel of the vehicle. Now, around this corner, a Fortuner driver will cut across. I know he will roll to the left side. This is something which was quite predictable. Oh my god, oh my goodness, absolutely orgasmic. Can you hear a bit of the tire noise? The kind of speed you can carry is unbelievable. What a mind-blowing car. What have you made, BMW? Absolutely stunning, yaar. Okay, I didn't apply full brakes because I will let the bags fall. Okay, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, launch control. Launch control always works. 0 to 100 km per hour in 4.33 seconds. Again, there was an upslope. This car is brutally quick. Yeah, it's so fast. It's so fun. It's mind-blowing. I love it. The acceleration, the handling, the performance, the sound, the dynamics, and most importantly, the practicality has just gone through the roof because of the adaptive M suspension. Basically, it has got adaptive dampers, wherein with a touch of a button, you can control the damping. So in comfort mode, obviously, it is softened up to give you a brilliant ride, which was not the case before. So this car is very much livable on bad roads in India. You can drive this car because the ride has dramatically improved. And in sport mode, obviously, the springs, the suspension stiffens up, giving you really amazing dynamic feel as well. So this is just razor sharp. The steering, the variable M steering is mind-blowing. It is so freaking quick. It is so responsive. It has the M Sport differential, which ensures that on the rear axle, equal amount of power and torque is going. Even if there's a slip, it ensures that it's able to manage that beautifully well. In fact, here we are coming to a U-turn, our usual U-turn. I'm going to turn off traction control. Although this is an all-wheel drive system, how dynamic can it get while taking a U-turn? We shall find out. So here we go. Okay, just notice I am just going to get a little aggressive on the throttle. Yeah, it actually lets you slide, which is the mind-blowing part. This car does slide. Wow, amazing. You would never expect that with all-wheel drive, but BMW is like, we'll let you play a bit. Why not? Because at the end of the day, this is an M340i. Let's do the brake test. Brakes are sharp, some tire noise here and there. Okay, let's come to DSC traction, because otherwise launch control will not work. Sport displays. I can't find that menu now because this UI is so confusing. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, launch control, and let's go! Come on, show me what you got. 0 to 100 km per hour in 4.2 seconds. Mind-blowing, absolutely crazy performance. This is so lovely. It's such a fun car to drive. Okay, let's do the wiper test. If you notice, water is actually coming out from the wipers itself because there are multiple nozzles. There's a nozzle below, there's a nozzle on the top as well. So water comes out from there itself. And the horn is also quite amazing here. Now the elephant in the room is obviously how livable is this car because of the low ground clearance. What is the ground clearance? 125 mm, which is less on paper and it is actually less on the road as well. Obviously you can't do the nose lift function here because there's no air suspension, but trust me on this, you will be surprised pleasantly how it's able to manage most of the speed breakers. Like really bad big speed breakers, you can just simply avoid going in that direction. Don't take that road where this car has to really crawl around and snake and all that, because okay, forget all this. Look at the way it is around the corners. It's unbelievable, the kind of speed. And obviously it has got the M Sport brake. The engine is always on the boil in sport mode, and the best part is that the gearbox is super fast with shifts. It's so fast, it's amazing. So let me tell you, when you come across a big fat speed breaker, you have to crawl a bit, you have to snake around to take the car over there comfortably without scraping the underbelly. However, the ground clearance is ample enough that when I took it off-road, not to do off-roading obviously because it has X-drive, all-wheel drive, it was basically so that I could shoot in a nice location. There, this car almost touched its front bumper, but I knew it wouldn't because the ground clearance is actually ample enough. Obviously, the ride is not as comfortable as the regular 3 Series, which is a longer wheelbase with higher profile tires and softer springs as well. Here it is on the stiffer side, but it's not unbearably stiff. It is quite manageable. The problem here is obviously the low profile tires and the run flats, which do not have much of a flex, because of which the ride isn't great and there is some amount of tire noise, but who cares about that, because once you get into the throttle you forget everything. That's the level of performance here. The performance truly is mind-blowing. It is something which makes you believe that not all cars are overpriced, because I feel each and every car in the country is right now overpriced by a big margin. This is the only car which feels extreme value for money, because the kind of performance which BMW is offering you for the price is absolutely unmatched, because the rivals, especially the C43 AMG, is actually more expensive with less cylinders and is slower as well. So that brings the question that should you get an M3? Obviously you should if you can afford it. What a question is that? Now this car redlines at 7,000 RPM. You're going to come into manual mode so I can show that to you as well. And it has a 48 volt mild hybrid system which assists at lower speeds, because of which turbo lag is almost non-existent. In fact, right from get-go all the way till the red line, there is just power and more power. It feels so fluid, linear and progressive. It's unbelievable the kind of performance. This car reaches the double ton in no time at all and has a top speed which is limited to 250 kilometers per hour. But open the limiter, 300 is not difficult here at all. It can easily reach 300 kilometers per hour. That is the level of performance it has. Meanwhile, let's quickly come into the other mode, which is the sport individual, wherein you can configure a lot of things. So damping, you can make comfort and sport. So right now when you're driving sportily, you can still have comfort on the suspension, which is amazing. The steering, again, comfort and sport. The drivetrain, comfort, sport and sport plus. The transmission can either be comfort, sport or sport plus. So you have so many options as well, which means that you can configure everything as per your own requirements depending on what you want. There's a comfort mode which obviously does things down, makes everything very smooth, refined and easy going as well. Just in case you are the kind who also wants to take this car to office, you can do that without taking your heart rate to 150, because trust me, whenever you drive this car you feel the rush. You feel like, oh my god, what is this? What a machine. Then there's Eco Pro mode, which is the most useless thing in this car, because why would you put it in Eco Pro? I know fuel efficiency is very bad. This will return somewhere between 4 to 8 kilometers per liter. I just filled fuel like yesterday and I went for power, because I think it's saying charging battery, because I left the throttle, because it has best performance on higher octane fuel obviously. So I put 95 octane and it is already showing me it's half tank with a range of 180 kilometers. So realistically, if you drive like a mental hooligan, this car will return somewhere around 380 to 390 kilometers of range, which is not much. Obviously, if you're looking for efficiency, then get the BMW 3 Series diesel, the 320 LD. You will also get a lot of space at the rear. You will also get a lot of torque and mileage as well. Trust me, BMW makes the best car. The 3 Series is so freaking unparalleled, and there is no competition to the M340i, because even like in Eco Pro mode, you want to make a quick overtake. Look at this, okay? It just freaking goes, does not hesitate one bit, which actually makes me believe, should we do the 0 to 100 km per hour test in Eco Pro mode? I mean, why not? So I'm just going to come into traction control and turn it off so that we get a better launch. Obviously, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, and off we go. There's no launch control in Eco Pro mode. Obviously, There is no wheel spin either. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in, come on, wake up. This guy is also, or rather this device is also shocked that, oh my god, a car can accelerate so fast in spite of having just 374 horsepower. That is BMW for you. So I think we should just reset this and try the launch once again. This is a little bit of a downslope, so obviously the car is going to get some benefit. So that's the reason I'm just going to come into Sport Plus right now, maybe to get unrealistic acceleration timing. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, launch control, and off we go. That's 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 4.4 seconds. Slope or no slope doesn't matter. The car is in its own mood actually. Yeah, unbelievable acceleration. And what does it say? It says take that, Audi S5 in the cluster. So now what you're going to do is you're going to time the car in both Eco Pro as well as comfort modes, just to see what's the difference in terms of the performance. You can turn off traction control. Even when you do that, the car doesn't really wheel spin much, because obviously it is channeling power to both the axles. It's more rear biased. I think 40% of the power goes to the front axle, 60% to the rear axle, which can increase up to 85% or maybe even up to 100% depending on the driving situation. And this car has got ADAS, but BMW always configures its ADAS beautifully well, so it's not intervening. It will only kick in when it really needs to, otherwise it will not. And I don't even care about it, because in a car like the M340i, you want to be in control. You don't care at all what others think or what others want in the sense of ADAS and all. Now the thing is, this car has amazing body control. Handling is mind-blowing. There is no body roll whatsoever, and the steering is super quick, super precise, and very responsive as well. What a beautiful steering, supremely well calibrated. This is why I love BMW. They know how to make steering wheels, at least in their sportier cars, because some of the cars are not having great steering, very un-BMW like, but the M340i retains the magic. And now we have come in comfort mode. It feels a bit more comfortable because of the softer suspension setting, because of the adaptive damping, and that adaptive damping is actually a very big thing here, and that's the reason BMW is asking around rupees 6 lakhs more for adaptive dampers alone, which is actually money well spent, because the performance improvement in terms of the ride quality is just supreme, because our roads are always broken almost half the places, so you really need a little bit more flex for the suspension, more travel is what I actually meant. This car is quite manageable on such roads, which is very surprising. Yeah, bad roads, no problem. Just come into comfort setting, the dampers take care of it. Okay, we are in manual mode, so the gearbox actually has multiple modes. So this is manual. There's a drive mode, which is a regular mode, sport mode, which is very quick, and manual mode, which gives you complete control of things. But you cannot select it from here. All you need to do is touch one of the paddles, and it will automatically get the car into manual mode. Oh my god, a bump. Manageable. So there, first gear, it does 62 kilometers per hour. Does it do the same 62 kilometers per hour in sport mode as well? Yes, it does. Second gear, it does 96 kilometers per hour. So if the gearing was slightly taller now, the 0 to 100 kilometer per hour timing would be under 4 seconds. And in third gear, it does like rapid pace that I can't even tell you how fast it goes in third gear, because that's how it performs. So as I see it, this car is absolutely unparalleled, which is both a good and bad thing. Good thing because BMW is BMW. Bad thing is it has no competition, no direct competition, which kind of makes it a monopoly for BMW at the moment, because the C43 is obviously super duper expensive, and the S5 is quite old. So what do? You have no other option. Just get the M340i if you can afford one. Now let's quickly do the acceleration runs in the other two drive modes. Before that, let me come into Eco Pro and show you that there's also something known as Eco Pro Individual, which lets you configure stuff. So you can configure the climate control, the Pro side. I don't know what is Eco Pro side. Probably it is to do with the ADAS function, because BMW's ADAS is such that if it detects there's someone ahead, it will automatically start reducing the speed of the car, thereby conserving energy and recharging the battery as well. And you can change the damping and the steering. Nothing you can do to the engine, because if you want the engine to perform better, you are better off being in sport mode. What are you doing? But it's also brutally fast in Eco Pro. Just imagine the kind of pace this car has. Launch control in Eco Pro, what are you saying? Unbelievable. So 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 4.3 seconds. Unbelievable that Eco Pro is so freaking fast. What does it do in comfort mode? Let's test that as well. Okay, there's a slight slope, but yet this car performs effortlessly no matter the drive mode, which is very hard to believe, yaar. How does it manage to be so fast in all the drive modes? Again, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. No launch control right now because you can't keep getting launch control again and again because the engine needs to cool as well. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in the timing only did not come right now, but hey, I can keep doing it all day long because such is the kind of performance. I believe it is going to give you the same kind of numbers in each and every drive mode, which makes me believe that BMW is actually not curtailed the power. In the future what they're going to be doing, they're going to reduce power in other modes. They're going to have a boost button here, you press it, you get 10 seconds of sport mode and full power, and all that is going to happen obviously in the future. And on that disappointment, I think it's time to get out of the car. This BMW M340i is hugely desirable. It's immensely fun yet practical. It's fast, furious and makes you curious of how to find rupees 90 lakhs to buy one, which is the on-road price of this car. I say that if you can get hold of another rupees 30 lakhs, get the M2 instead. Manual, rear-wheel drive, no electric assist and a real M car costs a few thousand more than the M340i's direct rival, the Mercedes C43 AMG. Now isn't that a deal? Not convinced? See the M2 in action. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. That's the like button. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And make sure to leave a comment because I'm reading and hearting almost all of them right away.